David and Housekeeper, Awesome Jeff.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. Let's do this, guys. We are pumped up. It is our fourth week of Lightweight Week. And, man, what a great way to end it. We got our man, Justin Ortiz. How you doing, my friend?
Whoa. What's going on, guys? Oh, man, I'm actually excited to be on. I'm happy to be on with you guys. Love you guys. Thanks for having me out. Appreciate it.
Awesome, man.
We're loving that you're here. We're honored that you're a part of it. As far as entertaining, exciting, lightweight fighters, man.
Yeah,
J.O., you're the guy, man.
Thanks,
So
man.
we've had Tony Young on the show. Obviously, we had a bunch of other lightweights on the show. We had Donald, we had Ibby, we had Robbie. We got Justin Ortiz.
Yeah, man.
I think we're fortunate.
Man.
We're winning right now.
Those are all great names right there, and I'm just honored to be a part of that list. That's all.
Yeah,
trying
man.
to get a nut, baby. That's all, you know.
Well, normally what we do is we kind of give people like a little backstory on who our guest is. I want to do a little different. What is Justin Ortiz up to now?
Yeah.
Oh, man. A lot of stuff actually has been happening. I just today alone, I was just with Ernest the Cat Miller, and I was not just doing a fight scene, but I was actually coordinating a fight scene, which is like a really big step up already. Like,
Yeah. Wow.
I went from doing fight scenes to coordinating one already for this movie coming up called The Replaceables that they're doing. Really cool. Him and the person that created the movie, his name is Raymond Lloyd Glacier. They call him in WCW.
Yeah.
And I know Sushi's a big fan of wrestling. So
That's right.
So Glacier, he runs that movie, and
Awesome.
And so I got to work with him, and Shaquan was there as well. So was some other people in the sport karate world. So Jermon Wiggins was there as well. So it's really cool. So I was just doing that, and then I just got in touch with another coordinator for another show. Power Rangers will be coming up in June. I'll be filming that in my hometown in Boston, which is super cool. And I'm going back home to film something super awesome.
Wow.
And then,
dude, it's a great time to be Justin Ortiz right now.
Oh, man, I'm blessed. That's all I can say. I'm blessed.
Yeah, man. So when did this really start, like as far as like you taking that step into this realm?
Into the stuntworks?
Yeah.
Started a couple of years back.
Getting in front of the camera, really.
Yes. Man, you know me. I'm not. I don't mind getting in front of a camera. I'm entertainer. That's as you said earlier. Like I just love entertaining, love having fun. So regardless, that was just me in general. But actually doing the stunt work a couple years ago, me and my brother Christopher Yorka, he's heavily in the stunt world.
Okay.
He started showing me some stuff. I started, helping him with a couple things. I'm like, this could be really fun. This sounds really fun. It's pretty cool. He's like, you should check it out. You should actually really come check it out. So we went and did this thing in Orlando, and I was like, oh, this was really fun. We were just playing around, doing some concepts for fights. And I was like, I might want to check this out. And he's like, well, there's an audition for Cobra Kai. And I was like, all right, let's do it. So I went and auditioned in front of Hito Kora.
Mm-hmm.
We know Hito from back in the days.
Yep.
And then so I auditioned, and from there I got on Ozark first, and
Okay.
And from Ozark, I got on Cobra Kai, and yeah, it just keeps going from there, and just using that momentum to keep pushing forward. Trying to keep growing.
Awesome, man. That's awesome.
So when you're auditioning for these roles, how are these auditions going? Because I've done different types of auditions. Nothing like what you're doing, and sometimes it don't go so great. But how are these auditions going?
They're going. I mean, as you can tell, it's been going great for me. Luckily,
I mean, the end result is fantastic.
Yeah.
yeah, it's been awesome. I really think I believe in myself heavily that I have that different personality that just attracts people to me. So I kind of tell that to myself in my head all the time, and I go out there and I just kind of attract that. Just get that attractiveness to them getting to like me and getting to know me and getting to really be involved in my character. And then one of the things is I'm like a social chameleon, so like a lot of times I understand like how people are and get to adapt to that, and then they can see that I can change characters and do different characters, and they're like, I like this guy. So
Nice. Awesome, man. All right, so you said you're going back to your hometown. So a lot of people, if they've really seen you when you were a big time, star in sport karate, they think you're from Florida. So explain people where you're from and your background.
Boston, Massachusetts, baby.
Yeah.
From the Bean Town. The real Bean Town, Alex. The real one. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
No, but yeah, I grew up in the projects in Boston, East Boston in particular, called Maverick Projects. Grew up there, pretty much till I was about actually 13. That's when I stopped living in the projects and we moved into a better neighborhood. So a lot of people don't know that about my past and my history, but
Right.
but yeah, and then after that, I started, getting some funds to help, take me to some tournaments, and then once I got recognized, I just started going from there.
Yeah. And what school
You say
were you part
Go
of?
ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, just what school did you go to?
For
like martial arts, like what? Yeah, who did you train with?
my dad. My dad was my instructor.
Okay. All right.
Alberto
Awesome.
Ortiz. Red Tiger Academy. Well, before it was called Red Tiger Dojo. But now it's Red Tiger Academy. He still has his school. It's in Somerville, Massachusetts.
Okay.
Right near
Awesome.
Boston. Right near Boston. But yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, we started off in his basement, and then went up and kept moving schools and growing.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Pretty awesome. Awesome, man. Yeah, go ahead, Alex, with the next part.
Well, when you say you kind of started there and then you kind of got recognized, you were on a local team before you got onto a major team, right? Weren't you on Mass Mall?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's not. Yeah, that was like I would call it more like regional, I guess. But
regional team. Okay, that would be the way to put it. Then,
I didn't get on until I was 15. So before that, I was like just representing my dad's school, and even then, so when I got on Mass Mall, I love Gerald Dawson. God bless his soul, man. That man was amazing to me. Really saw potential in me and brought it out of me. So, but get picked up on that team was a big deal, and it kind of helped push me and get me in front of like adult fighters, because Gerald would be like, you got these adult fighters, you got to get in there, and just throw me in there with the adults, and I'll win some of the tournaments, and I'll win some of the divisions, and at 15 beating adults was really cool, and that kind of helped put my name out there even as a junior, because as a junior, like if I'll go to like U.S. Open, I was just wearing my Red Tiger Dojo,
Right.
black and red uniform. And actually, I think you saw like one of my fights when I was like just turned 18, and I was fighting at Ocean States. I was still wearing a black and red uniform, and I was representing that school.
Yeah.
And that was before Macho, before Full Circle and everything.
Right. Awesome, man. Yeah. So I mean, that team there, it's kind of funny how it kind of all comes around, and I'm sure we'll get there. But just that core team of, let's see, Gerald was the guy, running it for the most part. Him, Mafia was a part of it at the time as well.
Oh yeah,
And
I actually trained a couple times, quite a few times with him back in Boston. So
right. And then Gina Thornton and Sean Elliott were a part of it,
Yes, they
and
were.
of course Cam and Jarrell. So and some several other people. Yeah.
That Marco Mard was on there as well.
Yep.
And I remember fighting with me. It was me, Jarrell, Marco Mard fighting in Philly. I mean, we were whooping on them. We were a great team at that moment. We were really good. And then Cam was like 12 years old, man. It's funny thinking about it, like seeing Cam run up like, hey, Justin, I did a switch axe kick, and I threw a spin hook kick. And I'm like, man, this kid's good. This kid's nasty.
Yeah. It's crazy. He knew so much at a young age, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Just ahead of. He just always seemed older than what he was.
Yeah.
Still
for sure, that team was definitely a catapult into like locking that career path for me as far as sport karate. But it was just mainly because Gerald Dawson just has a huge heart and was able to see a lot of potential in all these fighters and all these people and really bring out the best of them. So
awesome.
So you went from there to Full Circle.
To Macho, Team Macho.
Oh yes, okay, all right. Tell me about that.
I went from Mass Mall. I went back to my dad's team because I didn't have a team. Because after when I went to Florida, it was just me and myself really. And then so just represented the school, and then I got picked up on Team Macho when I was in Florida, and at the time it was run by Peter Lende.
Peter Lende, yeah, okay.
Peter Lende, yep. And then it was short-lived. We loved it. I did a couple tournaments with them, but it was still really cool. I was like, oh man, this is definitely a step up. We're getting somewhere, and those couple tournaments, got me a call from Full Circle, from Coach Conroy, which love Mike Conroy, great coach, probably one of the best coaches to ever be behind me. I mean, he knew me like a book, and of course he kind of watched me grow up too, being from the New England area.
Yeah.
So it was a lot easy, and it was just a very, very great coach. And then from there, Full Circle to Paul Mitchell.
Do you have, and we all have one, do you have any great Conroy stories?
Oh man,
everybody's got to lose.
Man, like, do I have any great? I have some really good. I remember this one time. This actually, I said this like a couple of days ago. This story, it was just funny. I mean, there's better stories, but it was hilarious. I remember this time. Conroy was like, of course, Conroy is upset at us. Whether you win or lose, he's upset at you. He's going to yell at you. He's going to tell you, I expect better, which I love that because, he really wants the best regardless. But he was like, I don't care if you go out there, you better do your best. I don't care if the person has no hands, no legs, you better whoop them. You better make them feel like they don't deserve to be in that ring. I was like, jeez. I was like, Coach, and I raised my hand. I was like, Coach, did you just tell us to beat up on a cripple? And he was like, you know what I mean, man. I was like, all right, you got it. Regardless who it is, I'm going after them, Coach. I got you.
Oh, man. And that was, a crazy team.
Can you, when you heard that, didn't you, hear that in Conroy's voice, too?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
I do. Good. That was pretty
good. Doing the hand smack, smacking his hands together. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. It's like yesterday. Just always thinking about that.
Yeah.
But man, that team was stacked. Go ahead.
Was it with Claire? He because he always smacks you in the headgear. like
Yeah.
really hard before you fight. Like it's super hard. Like sometimes it's like he got me dizzy before I even fought. But I remember one time he slapped Claire, boom, and Claire was like, "No, don't do that. I don't like that, coach." And he was like, "Don't tell me what to do. Just go fight."
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh man. So, yeah.
Yeah.
What were
But
your-
So
what was-
you're in. So now at that point, you're on full circle.
mhm.
It's a huge team
yeah.
Huge
with
team,
a
stacked
lot
team.
of lightweights. There was a lot of
Yeah.
lightweights with you. I mean, there was like, who was like you, Dylan Suarez.
Come
There
on,
was
I know you want to say his name. Go ahead.
what?
I know you want to say his name. Say his name.
Who's
Come
whose
on,
name?
come on, come on. Ahmed Farouzi, man. That
Oh well,
was,
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I'm not
come on. Yeah, Alex was
but
saying, but he's like, I'm gonna
but it was
wait till
also
last.
Damian Rodriguez as well.
Hey man, Victor
Yeah.
There was a lot of you
Suarez.
guys.
Victor Suarez was on there.
Victor, how did that make you feel? I don't know. Because I never really asked anybody
I
ever.
thought it was. I really thought that was weird. You know, I get it. Full circle, kind of want to take over everything.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was weird. There was a lot of people in just one division. I
Yeah.
always thought that, but they also put a fire on me that was like I gotta be the best one here. And
Right.
I was like right there alongside with Hamed, but Hamed was like the man right there in that lightweight division at the time. So
Yeah.
yes, but I mean, it kind of put a fire to me. It kind of really pushed me to beat them all, and and I guess in a way added some competitive fire into it because it was like regardless if they're a teammate, you better prove you're the best one.
Right.
Kind of feel, but it was kind of and we got that comment from everyone. Isn't it kind of weird, like not just your division but other divisions, it's like the same. Like you guys on the same teams, like who do they really want? Who's the
Yeah.
A team? Who's the B team? Like there's no A team and B team. I was like, yeah, there is.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
funny. There's no A team, there's no B team, there's no 1, 2, and back in your mind, you're like, I know I just got benched.
Yeah, yeah, man, I'm on a B team today, man. What did I do? What did I do wrong? I didn't sidekick when Coach Conroy told me to round kick. Yeah, that's what it is. Something like that. Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, now you bring up another great point. So you just talked about kicking.
Yes.
So
Here
you
we
and
go.
I had a conversation. Geez, it must have been 10 years ago. And we were just talking about, like, I just love your game, right? Jeff and I were talking to Ibi last week, and really just even before you came on, we're like, dude, you are a fighter fighting in today's game whose style is trapped in 1995. Right? You are a 90s style fighter.
Right.
And we had a conversation like, I don't know, it was probably like 10 years ago. We're like, dude, just bringing kicking back. Kicking back. Because at that time, it was all about body punch blitzing and body. It was like back fist, body punch, side kick to the body. Back fist, body punch, side kick to the body.
Yeah, it's funny. I do see the kicking coming back now, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even international, like some of these people getting picked up, from Europe. Like I see them kicking now, and I'm like, big kudos to Zolt also doing his part on the Europe side on that one. But yeah, for sure. That at the time when I was coming up, like everyone was like, oh, he's a kicker, or people would tell me, oh, you do good for a kicker. I'm like, what? Kickers do great. I'm about to show you how good we do. I was like, you have no idea. You get a really good, solid kicker. It's really hard to defeat him. And I think people started realizing that, started taking it up. But yeah, it's that Boston. It's that Boston training, or having that Boston area around me. All Boston Taekwondo is right there. Literally the area that I grew up in. I grew up in, Maverick Projects, but like I also went to school in Roxbury. And Roxbury, like that's like a lot of the people from Boston Taekwondo grew up in, and they were there. So it's like, it was like, oh, they're like hometown heroes, and they were kickers, and like seeing the style of kicking, because even my dad being a Shotokan stylist, their school loved to kick,
Yeah. Yep.
And that's
Yeah,
that's just the area.
it's the Japanese, it's the karate kicking style. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people think that Taekwondo is the only kicking style, but Shotokan is more of the kicking version of, you know what I mean? Like it's more about kicks than any of the other Japanese or Okinawan styles.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely has some of that stuff. That is because of the influence of the Japanese army and having the Japanese army study different styles. Because if you look at like traditional karate, it doesn't have kicks like that, but it comes from Savate, and my dad actually did Savate as well.
Okay.
And
Nice.
he did Savate as well. That's why it's kind of like. I always tell people like, oh, your foot looks like a hand, like you're jabbing and stuff. And I was like, oh, well, that's kind of like exactly how we're training. Like when you stick it this way, stick it out this way, stick it out over here, this angle, come over in this side, and this level, bring it around over here. And that's kind of that Savate kind of feel.
So
like fencing with your foot. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it is.
So bring up, Justin. You know the backstory on that, right?
About
Savate.
Yeah, about like the. Okay.
I'll let you tell it, just since you're already going down the road. I'll let you go for it.
I might not have the good story. I mean, if you know the full, but if I recall, the Japanese already noticed that they were getting defeated by boxing, I believe. And so they started to study different arts, and one of them was Savate, which was French kickboxing. And if you look at Savate French kickboxing, it's highly focused on the kicking, and they use a lot of like the point kick, which we like to call round kick, but like they point their foot, and the basics of Savate was like doing the same thing that a fencer would do with their hand or the weapon, right? But instead of the sword, it would be their foot.
The foot.
So being able to change the levels and change directions with their foot. So if you look at like old school videos of Savate, you even see pump kicks, like black and white videos of people actually pump kicking with the old boxing gloves,
Yeah.
But they're pump kicking, they're sticking out, and they even point their foot. And sometimes people sleep on this move, which I use a lot. I always talk about like snake kicks, right? Like snaking out my foot. They'll pump kick here, and they'll like snake like even with their toes. We always say not to hit with your toes, but like they'll snake a toe, like toe kick right into the stomach area. So like I use that a lot. Like when I fight, like I'll go like hook round, I'll come down like a round kick to like the rib section, but like snake it in and like hit it, pop, just like if like they're doing like it's a lot.
That's cool. Yeah, love it. That's awesome, man. The other thing I want to talk, because you kind of just been talking as well, is about just right then about what your well-roundedness in martial arts. And for me, I tell people that you are one of the top 5 all-around martial artists I've ever met. And
oh man,
and dude, I mean, I'm serious. Like people when we're like, well, who could win this tournament? I was like, well, if Justin decides to do forms, he could win. So I tell people that all the time. And some people would sleep on you with your forms. They don't really know. You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, Justin can kill it in forms in whatever he wants to do. So
my dad was big on that, being well-rounded, and regardless of how I felt, he always said, "You're doing forms, fighting." And then at the time growing up, I had to do continuous as well, because my first world championship was actually in Waco. Was
the juniors, right?
Continuous. Yeah, it was in continuous before point. And I loved continuous more, actually at the time, more than point, because I wasn't so talented until I was like training really, really super hard to get to that level in point fighting. But for some reason, kickboxing came to me because I added those kicks. I still wasn't as good as I was, growing up. But like when I was younger, I had those kicks. But my dad would always watch me, have me watch Mike Tyson for boxing. So it's funny because it's opposite. When I point fighted, I kicked way too much, right? When I was continuous fighting, they said I needed to kick more. I would throw a little bit more hand techniques because I would get in with my foot, but quickly get inside because everyone's used to that karate style distance. When I'll get in close, I'll just use my boxing and kind of tear up the body and, go from there. But, but the forms, doing the forms, my dad was big on that. He's like, regardless of how you feel, I want you doing forms. Even when I became an adult, I had to do forms because he was like, you're still doing forms. I still won some won some titles, doing forms and stuff like that. Won some grands doing forms.
Yeah.
The only thing I really never competed in was the weapons, but I always did weapons. I do all types of weapons.
Yeah.
But I always did it for exhibitions or showcases at my school and stuff like that. I really competed in because I had already had the continuous fighting on top of point fighting, so I was like, I'm gonna be dead if I do all that.
Yeah.
What was your favorite weapon to do forms with? To do weapons with? What was your favorite weapon?
Bow for sure. Traditional. If it was creative, it would be commas.
Okay. Nice.
But bow for sure. Traditional. And a lot of people don't know this, but I have a really, I don't want to gloat or anything, but I got a really solid traditional bow behind me, and some
This
of my
time to gloat.
some of my even my students have gone on to win championships with their traditional bow forms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
that's what I remembered. I knew you were teaching a lot of people that were being successful with that. So awesome, man.
So Justin Ortiz may be available for private lessons.
I'm always available for private lessons.
Okay. So
let's talk about that transition, right? Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, let's talk about that transition from Full Circle to JPM. I knew that you were saying the same thing, so yeah.
All right. It's been always a dream of mine. My dad, when we seen JPM, come out, he'd be like, "Hey, that's the team to get on." And Tom Kelly was always, he's a big heart, generous man. Loved the guy, and he did a lot. He was like a little, a dad for me at the time. He did a lot, but at the time I kind of saw the kind of the morale in him kind of drop down, and everybody else in the team, and it was kind of seemed like everything was kind of slowing down. But I still didn't kind of know that it was gonna stop, completely stop, and I was like, all right, cool.
Full Circle was.
Yeah, Team Full Circle, yeah. And then I before I got on Team Full Circle, Coach Don Rodriguez would, sometimes call me and say, hey, we're talking about you, putting you on the team and stuff like that. And when I was like, all right, cool. Maybe I'll get on Paul Mitchell at an early age. This is really cool. And I just turned 18. I'm really stoked. And then they put on DeAndre Walker. And I was like, what? And I was like, okay. And so I fought DeAndre Walker. So I got picked up on Full Circle, and I fought him. And the Full Circle B team at the time, because I just started, beat Paul Mitchell at Ocean State. And that was me, Tico.
It's not allowed.
Yeah, Rhode Island. Yeah, Ocean State.
It's not allowed. It's not allowed to beat Paul Mitchell at Ocean State.
Stop it. Stop it.
But you did it.
That's right. That's why I always tell people that's not true, because I did it myself. It was me, Tico, and Dylan. Literally, us three beat Team Paul Mitchell. And I fought DeAndre, and I hit him so hard. I hit him with a right hand so hard. It was like I looked right at Coach Don Rodriguez, and he was like, yeah. I was like, I can't believe, kind of pissed. So it was still stuck in my head, how you choose this guy. Love DW, because when I got on the team, I got to spend time with him. He's an amazing guy. But it was just that mindset in my head, how did you choose this guy? Now I'm gonna make you regret it, kind of feel. And then a few the whole year goes by with full circle. Towards the end of the year at Diamond, it was Coach Rappold, Christopher Rappold comes up to me. He's like, how's everything going? And he knows me. He knew me since I was a kid. He knows my father for years. And he's like, hey, we were talking about you. Your name was coming up in Paul Mitchell. Like we really, we were really looking at you, but we see that you're on full circle now, so you got a change of heart. And I looked at him and I go, well, always been a dream of mine to get on Paul Mitchell. And he looked at me, he goes, don't tell me that, because I will talk to the crew right away. And I was like, well, I'm not making any promises, but he's, it'll be pretty cool. We'll see. He was okay. And then all of a sudden I get a call like later on the year, end of November, from Christopher Rappold. Hey, I'm talking to the team right now, and your name's going around again, and it looks like we would really want you for Team Mitchell. And I was like, okay. I would be really cool. I would accept it if it's a good offer. It's always been a dream of mine to get on, but I just got to make sure I leave in good terms. So in December, I get the call, and I was like, okay, they want you on the team, but we're gonna have to put you on the trial, because you're still kind of fresh out there, we got to put you on a trial. And I go, I'm sorry, I don't mean any disrespect, but I'm already on a fully sponsored team.
Right.
I'm already on a very well-known, fully sponsored team. I'm not going to leave that to go into something that could be, or might not be.
Yep. Right.
Right on.
I was like, at the same time I was in college, I was like, I got no way to afford any of my stuff. I'm a struggling dude in college. Just trying to find my way, really. So I don't know if I can do that. And he was like, well, okay, hold on. Let me make some calls and call back and see what we can do. And then, later on I get a call and it's like, hey, talk to the team and we could do a full sponsorship for you if you're ready to come on the team. At first, when we hung up after that conversation, I was like, oh my God, I just ruined my chance to be on Paul Mitchell. What did I do?
Yeah.
I was like, what did I do, man? I was like, it's okay, Justin. Full circle. It's all right. You got what you want. It's all right. Don't worry about it. Like you stood your ground. That's what matters.
Yeah.
And
Right.
But I got the call and it was like, we could fully sponsor you. And I was like, okay. But before I do that, I have to make sure I call Mr. Kelly and let him know. That I'll be moving on. And I called Mr. Kelly and I told him, I thank you so much. You're like another father to me. You did so much for me. But it's always been a dream of mine to be on this team. And it has nothing to do with how I felt about this team. This team has been lovely and great to me. It's meant the world to me. I just know that I can, being on Paul Mitchell, it can open up some other doors for me. And just always been a dream of mine. And just had to keep mentioning to him that it's mainly because it's just been always in the forefront of or the back of my head. Really,
done about it.
Yeah, like I just really always wanted to be on that team. And he was like, okay, he understood. He was like, I wish you the best. And I know, like, deep down, like at the time, he was just like, that's not cool, but he didn't say that to me. I just know in the background that's what happened. But we talked afterwards, and he wished me the best and everything like that. But and then shortly after, I get an email because this is that time where Kobe Northcote was on the team, and I get a text from Kobe. It was like, hey, you are so lucky you left the team. I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, you left right on time. I was like, what do you mean? And then I saw she texted me an email that says, I regret to inform you that Team Full Circle will no longer be, until further notice, blah blah blah. And I was just like, what?
Yeah.
And actually, there was some problems between me and my dad because of that. Because my dad was a part of like the, a lot of people didn't know. Like I'd have like growing up, like I didn't really have that much connection with my dad until like we started traveling together. And that moment with Full Circle when I got on and I kind of signed a contract, with him there, it was a big deal for us too in our bonding. He just wasn't a part of that, through the Paul Mitchell phase. And he went off on me. He's like, how can you not be loyal? I told you loyalty is very important, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, whoa, Dad, you told me since the beginning of the day that this was a team to get on. And I just followed my heart and I did what I felt like was right and everything like that. And I was loyal, but I just wanted to move on and go to bigger things. I feel like this would be bigger for me. And it caused a little turmoil there. And then when that happened and I got the letter, I kind of sent it to my dad saying, see, I told you. I was like, look, they're no longer anymore. Imagine if I stood on the team, I wouldn't have a team.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I also know that because like a few of us left, that kind of probably had to do with some of the decisions about like stopping the team. But yeah.
Yeah, because as you went on your first year of John Mitchell, Cass came on as well at the same time, right? There was several new people.
Cass came on right after
the end of that year, right?
Yeah, right there. Yep.
Well, when Full Circle was no longer.
Yeah.
And that's when he went to Paul Mitchell.
Yeah. So you guys had like a new. It was kind of like a new group. That kind of was like, all right, because really Paul Mitchell was kind of in that here phase, not at their top level, like, and you guys brought a lot of new energy to the team, I felt like.
Yeah. It was like 1 year just with Zolt, Laszlo and Zolt, because they were there 2012, and I got in literally December of 2012, so 2013 I started with them. Cass was in there with us. And then like shortly after Cam came in. But this new wave of young fighters, and Cass was amazing fighter, still is. Cam is the man. And of course, and I always thought, team fighting with Laszlo and Zolt. I mean, for the most part, when it was Zolt, Laszlo, and I, we went a long time without losing. So.
Yeah.
That is a hard team to mess with. Because
man.
you guys beat us for the championship once with Hamed and Russ Cook and I. And we thought we were like, all right, we just beat the All-Stars, we're doing okay. And we draw you three, and we were not okay. We were not all right. So
it was
I didn't even know I was going to ask this question.
It was a different fire at the time too, because especially when we first got together, we were like, you know what, let's go out there and show what we got. It was great, man. Like we had that fire, we had that all around speed just from all three of us, man. It was
Well, I think just also Zolt and Laszlo, they already have such a unity, and you just like you already mentioned before, like you can you're like a social chameleon. So it works out well for you to be able to just kind of fit in with what they already got going.
The only thing is Laszlo is a super funny guy, and Zolt is super cool. But like sometimes Zolt gets very serious, and if you know me, I play pranks and jokes, and I laugh, and I have fun throughout the whole term. I mean, I'm making fun of people, I'm laughing. I mean, Alex, you know that.
Right.
But
that's what makes it fun.
Yeah. And sometimes Zolt was like, "Hey, come on, man. Come on, stop." And I'm like, well, I'm not gonna stop. I'm
not now. I want to do more.
That's me, baby. Like, so sometimes he'll play around with me. Sometimes he'll joke around, but then there's times where he's just like, "Man, like now, do you have to do this now?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, I got to do this now." But I guess I wasn't that much of a social chameleon with him, but our bond was still strong, and I mean, he was a great mentor to me too, because I remember when I was you know, just getting to travel and just getting to go to tournaments. I went to the U.S. Open, and you know, I got to see this kicker whoop on Raymond. I'm like, who is this? Who is this kicker? Like showing what kicking's
right-side
all
kickers
about.
don't
Who is
normally
this
whoop
guy?
on Ray.
Yeah, and then like it's that defensive psychic was step back fast, and I was just like, who is this guy? I'm like, and at the time he had the long hair. I'm like, he looks like a tennis player, man. Who is this guy? And then I see it all that, and I see his name. I'm like, man, I don't know how you say that, but that guy can fight. And then when I learned that it's Zolt Murati, I'm like, oh, I gotta follow him, and I followed him, and then I ended up being teams with him, and I was like, this is super cool, man. And just to see our kicking styles combined, and he shows his way of kicking, and I show my way of kicking, and Laszlo. You know, even though Laszlo's got a fast blitz, Laszlo got kicks, and he has his different way of kicking. So it was kind of cool. And there was actually times where we would challenge each other, like at tournaments. Like, I bet you won't hit him with this. You know, I bet you won't hit him with that. And it's like, okay, all right.
Nice.
What was one of the challenges?
What was one of the challenges?
Yeah.
One of the challenges was the invert kick, like the twist kick.
Yeah. Twist kick, yeah.
You know, everyone has a different name for it.
Exactly.
But one was who can hit somebody like straight in the nose with it. Who can hit somebody that can't like, and then you know, Zolt would try, but like a lot of times he would like pump his side, and so it's really hard for him like to switch that momentum, hit somebody. But Laszlo, you know, he can quick fast, but the point was like he has to extend and get to the head. So it was a challenge for all of us, and we were like, all right, let's see. All three of us hit somebody in the nose with it, which was really cool.
Nice.
That's pretty dope.
That is cool. That's cool.
But it was still cool because it was like set up differently, and it was really cool to see the different kicking styles and how it's set up. Like Laszlo was just a straight invert to face, like no setup, just like straight, because that was his style, right? Just A to B,
so
quick,
explosive.
pop, yeah, just explosive, boom. You know, Zolt was like he had to do it he did a lot of pump sides. Zolt loved his pump sides. So he did it from his pump side and like switch it up, which was harder because like going from the side and then turning that body out. But, you know, he caught him right underneath the nose, which was really cool. And then mine was off a hook round because I love throwing my hook round. So mine's a hook round and invert. So hook round, come across, and then come around with the invert.
Nice.
All right. So you're on the team with both of them. You fought them both before. You beat them both before.
Mm-hmm.
Which one's harder for you to fight, Laszlo or Zolt?
Actually, Laszlo's harder for me to fight. I have a great track record against Zolt. 3 fights to 1. So I beat him 3 times, and he's only beat me once. And that was like literally the first time I got on Mitchell, and the first time I fought him. You know, I lost him. It was that Extreme Warrior Challenge. And then after that, I was just beating him. I just felt like I could, because I understood the kicking style and my angles was there. And that's what made me different from all different types of kickers. Like I wasn't straightforward. Like I had movement angles and defensive kicks to my arsenal. So I used that against him. And then sometimes I'll sneak in my hand techniques because I forget I can punch. But like sometimes I forget I can punch. And so sometimes I got to remind myself, and I'm like, you know, this can work. But Laszlo for sure, because you know that is trying to match his speed, trying to keep that good amount of distance because he was just so explosive. And honestly, we would go back and forth. Like sometimes I go to Europe, I lose to him, but when it comes to the States, he loses to me. And it's just probably the feel, like how we feel at the moment. Like he feels at home, so he feels comfortable, and he's doing his different thing. And then when I feel at home, I'm feeling comfortable, so I do my different thing. I do my different angles to it. So that was a tough one. Like we would go back and forth. But
you had a couple of battles with him at the Irish Open.
Yeah.
Almost left you pulling your hair out.
Oh yeah, I mean. I think the last one was because of the like calls and like the out of bounds kind of thing, and like, you know, like me like really going forth, and he kind of just stepped out of bounds, and like we were just talking about rules and stuff, but it happened. It happens. And I was like, oh man, because like if I beat him, I moved on to the final 4, because literally like it was him both times at the final 8. I always make it to the final 8, beat everybody else, and fight him, and I lose because of some rule or something like that. And I get really upset, and I'm like, oh, I'm right there because I was just going Final Four, and I just felt like I could do it. Especially the time that I won gold in Irish Open, I just felt like my cardio and everything was on point, and I was like, I think I can win overall, and then I lose to that. I'm kicking him out of bounds, I'm literally hitting him, and he comes out of bounds, and they're like, oh, he's fighting out of bounds. It's like, no, he's not. I'm kicking him out, but he's not doing it. He's running out, and it was like that. Like, I was just like, oh, I'm right there, but not taking anything away from him. He's an amazing fighter because like. He's an amazing fighter. That's all I can say. He's awesome. But at the States, I just felt like more at home, so I felt like I was doing more than I was like overseas against him. And a lot of times I was just utilizing my angle. So like after I throw my kicks, instead of coming forward with a punch, I just slightly come off angle and throw like an overhand, like a ridge hand or overhand cross.
Well, you almost got to because he fights with his left and you fight with your right.
Yeah, but even then, so a lot of people like to, the blitzes were, a lot of people like to come underneath body punch, so even off a kick, they'll come underneath body punch, kick, body punch. And even if they do come off at an angle, I'm talking about like a deep angle, they're coming right here and coming off. I would actually, after I kick, if my kick's here, I would come off really far with my foot, take a step out this way, so my body would be all the way out here. My hand would be coming this way. Right. And it seemed to hit him a lot, and a lot of the times it was because I had my dad behind me, and he would remind me that because I used to have I have a really good ridge hand, and he was like, use that ridge hand, but angle off every time.
Oh, yeah, nice.
And I was like, okay, bang, and I'll hit him with that, and it'll work a lot, but.
I know Jeff's thinking what I'm thinking.
That time in Ocean State, I had to fight him and then Zolt right after.
Yeah,
it was there was a fire in me because that was my first ever overall before I would start winning all the other overalls. That overall in particular, I wanted to win because one, Steve Babcock promised me an authentic first edition Team Paul Mitchell jacket, which I have hanging in my closet right now. He's like, if you win overalls, I'll give it to you. If you win an overall, I'll give it to you, but you got to promise your overall. And I was like, I got you. And then on top of that, I just wanted to prove to everyone that I was the best on the team. And that was like kind of that feeling of full circle. Like regardless who's on the team, I still want to prove I'm the best one. So, and I'm not saying I'm better than them because they're bested me, I bested them. Like they're great fighters, they're amazing world champions. But I just at that moment I was like, I want to show that I'm number one on this team, or that I deserve to be on this team kind of feel. So
yeah, and I remember watching that fight. And it was just like, dude, you could just. What I like watching about you is like it's just the energy and like, all right, you have the speed of a lightweight fighter. But like, you're gonna hit someone like a heavyweight if you need to. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's and you can just tell that. And it's exciting. It's you don't know what you're gonna get with your kicks, and just also too you may get in someone's face after as well. So hey,
what I think was a little different. So you go back probably 10 years before you really came onto the scene and started winning, you would say, oh, this person's a great kicker. They would just pick it up and go and just go forward. But you have so much patience to your game that you can't do that. And you'll not kick to let somebody else come in so that you can kick them. Right? And
so
that's
that defensive kicking style.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So I made a list of top kickers, and you're on the list. Now, there was a moment, let's fast forward. Let's go to 2015, all right? So there's a moment when I'm thinking in my head, not verbalizing it out loud, I'm like, man, the two best kickers in the world are Roman Brundle and Justin Ortiz.
Over Zolt? Roman Brundle over Zolt?
Well, Alex likes Roman. You come on, man. He's the fanboy.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Okay.
He's got the T-shirt and the hat and the sunglasses.
I would disagree.
He's not taking
heavily.
anything away from Zolt. Zolt chambers at his eyes. I know that, right? And kicks straight. And
So does
it's so
Roman.
great what he does. He doesn't lock his back leg or go flat even while he's kicking. It's amazing. You just can't. He's 6'5", Roman's 6'5", but his legs start at his armpits, and he can kick and jump backwards as well, and he can do it all. It's
I thought that Zolt had more versatility to his leg.
No way.
Yeah,
No way.
I thought like
so.
see, I think
that.
Roman had high. The only thing what I would say is I agree with the fact that Roman could go forward, kind of pop back with his body, with his whole body and stuff. But like to me, that was kind of like you're off balance. Let me check myself, kind of thing, and or like let me pull back. I'm not sure where I need to go, and then go. But even then, so you know, they were both headhunters. They didn't really change it as much. But what Zolt had with the mix that I would say made him a better kicker, and this is why I'm saying that he was a better kicker, is because sometimes he used his hands, and he used his kicks to set up his hands, and that's part of kicking strategy. And I thought that's what he had more, because if you look kick for kick, they did this. They kind of were very similar. Very, very tall kickers that had high chambers and that would, push forward a lot of times with that side kick mainly. You barely saw Roman or Zolt throwing round kicks, right? A lot of times it's a side kick.
Yes.
Barely, very rarely you'll see them like change to the body. Because even like Coach Damon, you would hear him yell like, the body works too. Like you can go to the body too. Like it's open, just bring it down. And then I heard Coach Conroy say the same thing to Roman all the time. The body works too. You can go to the body. Why does he keep trying to go to the damn head when his hand is all the way up there? I would hear him.
Obeda and I did used to yell at Roman about that. Your body's open.
Yeah, but it's like it's right there. Change it, drop it down, change it back up, bring it back up, bring it around, bring it down low, bring it back up, change it up. So I think that was that, but I think just simply because he would set up his hands or even set up defensive kicks too, because Roman would pop back with his leg, but then end up going back forward. Sometimes Zoe had a great defensive side kick. A great defensive side kick that I would say, not even Roman barely threw defensive side kicks.
No, I think he pretty much just got out of doing it because he's like, my leg's too long to defensive side kick.
Right.
My punch is
but look
better.
at the length. Look at barely punched though, but look at the length of Zolt. That even though he had that length, step back D side and executed an amazing D side.
Have you fought Roman
with good
before?
speed? Yeah, I beat him in Austrian Classic. The score was 4-1.
Nice. Yeah. So that's what he was.
That's what I wanted to talk about.
At the time, I did not know who he was, and I remember because I was with GB, Red Bedlack at the time, and he was like, "Hey man, do you know who you just beat?" I'm like, "No," and he goes, "That was Roman Brundle. Like you just beat him like if you're fighting like just somebody like you were just warming up," and I'm like, well, he was a tall kicker. He was trying to go forward too much. I used my angles, went inside, caught him with some kicks, checked his leg on the inside, hit him with a body punch. I was like, yeah, no, bro. He's like, no, he beat Ross at the same tournament. That is nothing. I'm like, no way. Okay, it's a good thing you didn't tell me that because I didn't want that stuck in my head as I going to fight this guy. I was like, good thing you didn't say that to me beforehand. But that was the one and only time I fought him, and honestly, I really didn't. Big respects to him and him as a fighter. He's a good fighter, but like at the time, I didn't find him to be as difficult. Just because again, it was just kind of straight line, high chamber.
See, I found the opposite experience when I fought Zolt. I'm like, there's no problem. Your kick is gonna do nothing to me, and it didn't. When I trained with Roman for like a week, I had no answer. No answer.
I would say this, like, how would you try? Would you stay in the pocket, like against Zolt's kick? What would you do? What did you do that you felt like, okay? Did you stay in the pocket, kind of push his leg? You know, is that
Every
what
time
you?
he kicked his leg up, I kicked straight at his head. Even if his leg was there, I went through it.
Right. So right, exactly.
And I
So
can't do that with Roman.
You can't do that with Roman. You can't. Did you beat Zolt?
Man, listen to this messed up stuff.
Oh God.
1-0 with 3 seconds left. It was a 1-0 match. One.
Okay.
I lose.
Okay, so you lost.
This
So
show
you
just
lost.
came into a coaching session.
Yeah, you lost.
That's
You
right.
lost.
Look, you lost, man. No, I was kidding.
Yeah, a lot. Whatever.
But I'll tell you. Okay, so you can defend against Zolt's leg if you are like doing what you did, definitely for sure. And that's why, like, sometimes when he would kick at me, I would angle off, and even I would able to check his leg, push his leg down. Because the difference between Zolt and Roman is that like burst of power that Roman had in that little span of distance with his leg.
Yeah.
Roman's power, like between that little like distance, bang, like regardless if you kick it or you try to check it, it is going through you. That I would say that he had going for him. I just thought that as far as the type of kick, Zolt could change it up a little bit more. But even then, so those type of fighters, angles. Those type of fighters need to be working angles and getting underneath their leg, taking their leg out from like at a 45-degree angle from underneath, rather than trying to go over or through.
Well,
all right. So
where I was going with all of that is, like I said, 2015. You win the diamond ring. On the other side, Roman wins the diamond ring. It's the first time it gets split. And I remember at one point, tournament's over, and you guys just looking at each other. And I'm like, why didn't we get this fight?
We looked at each other. We looked at each other because Roman looked at me as like, we're both gonna win. It was really nice of him, and I was like, and I looked at, I was like, yeah, we are. Like we're both gonna win. Like I knew he was gonna win. I was like, I knew I'm gonna win. Like we just had that feeling. Yeah, and we looked at each other. We were like, nice. Like yeah, that's good job. But I would say though, when he won, in the back of my head, I was like, are they gonna do an overall? But I was so on fire that day that I was like, I want to go. But then at the same time, like, given my ankle, like, hurt it fighting Jack, and it was a long fight, and I was tired, and I was like,
9 minutes.
No. Thank God.
I watched it.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I was like, thank God they didn't do an overall, because I was like, I don't know if I can even do 30 more seconds of even just standing there. I was like,
See, I'd forgotten that you hurt your ankle, and I remember thinking like, yeah, I don't know, Roman. I don't know if you got this one.
Yeah, man. I watched that fight the other day, and I mean, it was like the video is like 9 minutes long, but I know there was also some breaks as well because of your ankle in there. And it was back and forth, and you had to win by 2 on that one, so it was crazy. It was a great fight. I mean,
that
both of you guys were on.
Again, everyone asks like, who's my toughest fighter? Like I fought. That's my guy, Jack Felton. He's a very, very smart man, great fighter. He adjusts so well. It's just really, really tough to fight a guy like him, especially with that. He has a great IQ. And then like just our styles clashing. Our styles were literally meant, like my style was meant to go against his style. His style was meant to go against my style, kind of thing.
Right. Definitely.
And, you guys are like literally like the mongoose and the snake with each other.
And then if you notice towards the end, it's like he was kicking me. He hit me with kicks, and then like I had to think of something different. What I'm not doing, I got to punch. Like to get that last, I got to punch. It was like I had to. Yeah, it was crazy. And I thought that fight was just a great display of just will, pushing, and then IQ, and then adapting. Like us just two adapting to each other.
Yeah.
So,
Man, yeah, great fight.
if we look at the game today,
Yeah.
and we kind of hinted at this earlier, a lot of good kickers today.
Yeah.
And there's some of them that I gotta believe. I was like, you guys looked at Justin Ortiz tapes. You had to have, right? And this guy that I'm gonna mention, he's a great fighter in his own. He's a great kicker. But I watch Enrique Latona. I'm like, it looks a lot like you. The way he places his kick.
I mean, I went to Guatemala a lot, and I remember Enrique and Jason when they were like little kids, and I remember training them at first and doing seminars at their schools, and I hope I was able to show them a thing or two with kicking, but I'm just so proud of him, both of them, just to see where they came from and take it to the next level that they did, and really showcase kicking like the way it should be.
Yeah, definitely Enrique. Yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome. They're awesome.
It's been how long has it been since you were in a point fight? It's been a couple years.
A year or two.
Year maybe. Last year you fought at North Georgia, right?
I did the North Georgia Open. Yeah, I shouldn't have fought. I was not trained, but I did it for Jim, and I was like, all right, I'll go in there, have some fun, and I was like, I was too big at the time. But like a real train for a fight. It's been a couple years, man. It's been a couple years,
and you also you did some kickboxing as well, a little bit here or there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm 2-0 pro, and I was going to last year, and May time I was going to do a fight in Abu Dhabi, and it was a pro kickboxing, and then because of the Corona thing, that stopped, and I put a halt to everything, and then everything changed, and then now all this stuff with the stunts and stuff. I got to focus on that and, not hurt my body. But I've been doing some bodybuilding. I've definitely been training like crazy. So, I still spar. I still fight great. My kicks are still there. I'm definitely not going to lose that. Always stretching no matter what. Yeah.
Now, wait a minute, though. You mentioned some bodybuilding. I saw you post some video. You deadlifted 405.
Oh, yeah,
now,
man.
I'm considerably bigger than you. And that is the most I've ever done. When I saw you do that, I'm like, man, I got to give this thing a shot, because I got to have 50 pounds on you. Justin, my whole body hurt after that, right? So you've been doing it like you've been putting on a decent amount of size now.
I've been putting on a good amount of size, and that's because of Jules, my wife. She's been bodybuilding. She's I
didn't know that.
She's doing some stunts, and she's being a Pink Ranger in this Power Ranger series coming up, but she's trying to get into bikini competition. She wanted something else to challenge her,
right.
Because she was, just like me. We did it all. We traveled a lot of places with this sport karate stuff, and we wanted something different and challenging. So she wanted to do that in bikini, and I saw her sometimes she looked more swollen than me some days, and I'm like, I gotta up my game. I really gotta step up. So I was like, let me learn a little bit how to do this weightlifting shit, because I hated the gym, and only because I hated the gym because I didn't know how to do it. I never knew. No one ever showed me how to do it. And Jim Haymore, he was a great, excellent coach on that, and gave me my first tips on lifting and stuff, and what to do, and gave me some coaching on it, and I followed his plan, and then I started going from there, and then I followed a different workout and just kept going with this workout, and man, I've been picking up weight like crazy, man. 260 on bench press max, almost getting to 400 pounds on squat, 405 deadlift, and I'm the amount of weight I've been picking up, it's been it's been like exponentially big. But now I'm to the
What are you
point where
weighing at right
I start
now?
cutting. I'm weighing about 185 right now. 185, probably the most I've weighed a long time ever. But I'm not like 185. Like there's times where I like hit 180 and you saw my face. I was just like a balloon. Um, but but now I'm like 180, like 85 solid. But now I'm actually starting to cut. I'm starting to cut. Get my midsection down lower. Get a little bit more shredded look. So I got the weight that I want to as far as like my muscles. Now I need to cut so everything is defined and look like that. Getting that Power Ranger mode or Power Ranger look
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be.
Man, that's awesome. A couple of questions just before we finish up, and then just fun stuff. So, who were maybe
Okay.
some of the, let's say, three of your favorite fighters that growing up that helped influence you?
Pedro, number one.
Okay.
Pedro's my number one. Pedro Xavier's my number one. That's my man. Kicking style, of course, ridiculous. When it calls, for sure, the Godfather kicks, man.
Yeah.
For me, I know everyone has their own person, but that's my guy. I would say two. I have to go with my dad. My dad, growing up, watching my dad fight. He was awesome, amazing, and then also coaching me. And then I'm gonna have to go Zote for the last one. Zote was a good inspiration of growing up and watching him. I watched him growing up, beat people with kicks, and I was like, I need to beat people with kicks like this guy. So.
Nice. And let's see, what about maybe some other? Mentioned the diamonds, but what's another big win for you that kind of you felt like took you to that next level?
Irish Open gold. When I won gold in Irish Open, and we had at that time, Alex was there. There was like 160 people in my division alone.
It's crazy.
Dude, that was insane.
I blasted through each and every one of them. I felt great that day, and I knew at that moment, like that I'm here. Like, I'm
well,
at
that was
that level.
payback because you took silver the year before.
I took silver the year before, and I was exhausted. I was like, this is not going to happen again. I was training with the gas mask and everything. I was like, it's not happening again. And let's see. I mean, definitely Ocean States was my first overall grand champion.
Right, I would say, yeah.
And then beating Lazo, then Zolt, amazing top fighter world champions. That was a great changing moment for sure. And then there's other ones like fighting like overseas and stuff like that. But yeah.
Awesome, man, awesome. Alex, let's go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I want to know. Do you think you're going to point fight again?
I don't know. I just I know there's a lot going on. I know there's nothing really going on this year. And as far as like Paul Mitchell sponsoring us for like they don't do local events like these are big events, and there's not really any big events going on this year. So I don't see anything going on this year, especially with everything going on. I can't risk me getting hurt or anything like that or injured.
Yeah, you got a little bit of investment.
Yeah, exactly. But do I ever see myself fighting again? I do. I it's hard to not have fun.
Yeah, because you were at North Georgia Open, right?
I was judging, yeah.
Yeah, but you were reffing. I know. So you were there, yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, I mean the sport karate world. I mean, I can't go away from that. Like
that's right.
I love the sport
karate
world.
Yeah.
I love getting and Josh Horwich and Ernest the Cat, they're doing some big things, and luckily I'm being a part of it. With this Pro Point stuff, the first ever Pro Point was at my school, the one that I run. So, and then the
I think I knew that. That's right.
and then being a part of Pro Point and kind of like, helping, giving them insights on certain things, and just, Josh always like loves to get me involved in what he's doing, which is amazing. I love the guy. He does a lot for the sport and does a lot for us. And then, we did this show for A&E Network called Karate Kids of Atlanta. Hopefully that gets picked up by A&E. But it's just, we're taking sport karate to a different world. And then this stunt stuff, we're about to do, I don't know if you guys saw, we have Bush.tv, which is a new platform. It's like the Netflix of martial arts. Christopher and I, my friend Christopher and I, we're gonna like put some stuff on how martial artists can start doing stunt work. So actually teaching them how to do stunts and stuff like that.
Awesome.
But like letting people know that being a martial artist, you have a great advantage, But it is a different world, but we have an advantage. So I want to elevate the sport karate world. I'm not gonna forget where I came from and what made me great. This sport made me great.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure everyone knows that they can do amazing things with it.
Exactly. Yeah. And some people they think, oh, well, this is as far as it'll get me. There's nowhere else. And there are so many other opportunities for you if you know the way to get there, like the path towards there. And I think that's where a lot of people just don't know the path and maybe just the extra little changes they need to make, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Awesome. So, Alex, we want to give them. Justin, you want to give your voicemail to the world? What do you want to let everybody know to send them off today?
I mean, stay tuned for more, man. Catch me at the Ortiz Experience on Instagram. You can stay up to date with everything I'm doing. I know I had that Point Fighter Live interview yesterday, and one of the biggest things I was telling people is like, my dreams are coming true because I never stop dreaming. And I think that's the big picture I'm trying to give, like, this month that's really been resonating in my head is, my dreams are coming true because I never stop dreaming. So I want everyone to know, the sport karate world, regardless where you are, you want to achieve something, don't stop dreaming. Don't let it fall behind. I think as adults, we grow up and we forget how to be kids. We forget how to imagine it, how to have a great imagination, how to really take that imagination and actually bring it to real life. Because that's what we did as kids, right? But we forget that when we grow old. And I think that's what made me successful and keeps making me successful is like I imagine things and I try to bring it to life. And I just hope everyone is trying to do the same. I always tell people I'm a professional kid. That's all I'm just trying to do.
That's pretty good.
I love it, man. Thank you, man, for being on the show with us. It's been a great time and great time talking to you, buddy.
Yeah, and for everybody listening, when you guys listen to this, we are doing this very late because I messed up the timing on that. Justin was gracious enough to adjust it so that we could still do the show. But we are like burning the midnight oil.
Yeah. we are.
Man, absolutely. But I thank you guys, and it's great what you guys are doing, especially for the sport, and keep doing what you're doing. Love it. Everyone out there in the sport karate world, thank you for your support. Love you guys. I really appreciate it.
Awesome, man.
This has been another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. See you guys next week.